A critical flaw in OpenStack's identity service is allowing attackers to essentially walk through the front door with admin privileges just by faking a header.
I'm Morgan, and that's Alex. Let's break it down.
We're starting today with a heavy hitter in the cloud infrastructure space. It's CVE 2026-22797, and it's sitting at a near-perfect 9.9 on the severity scale. It affects the OpenStack Keystone middleware, specifically versions 10.5 through 12.1.
Keystone is the identity service, right? So this is the part that handles who is who across the entire cloud environment?
Exactly. The problem is in the external OAuth 2 token middleware. It fails to sanitize incoming authentication headers. An attacker who's already authenticated as a regular user can send forged headers, things like X is admin project or X user ID, and the system just accepts them. They can impersonate any user or escalate themselves to full admin status.
Wait, so if I'm a low-level user, I can just tell the middleware, hey, I'm actually the admin in a header, and it doesn't double-check that against the actual token? That feels like a massive oversight for a project as mature as OpenStack.
It's a classic failure of trust. It assumes that if the header is there, it must be legitimate. If you're running any deployment using that specific OAuth 2 middleware, you need to get to version 10.7.2, 10.9.1, or 12.0.1 immediately. This isn't one you want to sit on.
Identity is the new perimeter. And when the perimeter's gatekeeper is this easily fooled, the whole zero trust model just collapses. Speaking of software that handles sensitive data, what's going on with HotCRP? I saw another 9.9 on the list.
Yeah, this is CVE 2026-23836. HotCRP is that specialized software used for managing academic conference reviews. It's niche, but it's used by some of the biggest tech conferences in the world. A flaw introduced back in April 2024 in version 3.1 allows for arbitrary PHP code execution.
PHP code execution? That usually means a total server takeover. How are they pulling that off?
It's in the formula generation. Users can create formulas to sort or analyze paper reviews, but the code generation for those formulas wasn't sanitized. So, an attacker submits a malicious formula and the server executes it as PHP code. It's patched in version 3.2, but think about the target here: researchers, government scientists, top-tier developers. The data in those review systems is incredibly valuable for corporate or state-sponsored espionage.
Right. It's not just about the server, it's about the intellectual property sitting on it. It reminds me of those attacks on MoveIt or other file transfer tools. Attackers go where the concentrated data is. And then we have the hardware side of things. I'm looking at this router flaw, CVE 2026-1162.
This one is a bit of a throwback. It's a buffer overflow in the UTT Hyper 810 router. Specifically, a function called setSTIP in the setIPBind file is vulnerable. It's a 9.8 because it allows remote exploitation. If an attacker can reach that management interface, they can overflow the buffer and take control of the device.
A stirk error? That's such a fundamental coding mistake. It's like leaving the keys in the ignition with the engine running. And you said the exploit is already public?
Exactly. The exploit code is out there. These routers are often used in small to medium businesses, and they're exactly the kind of devices that get sucked into botnets like Mirai. If you have one of these on your edge, you're a sitting duck until it's patched or replaced.
It's the same story every week. Edge devices are the weakest link. But shifting gears a bit, let's talk about the news. There's a new hardware vulnerability for AMD users that sounds pretty serious. They're calling it stack warp.
Stack warp is a big deal for anyone using confidential computing. Researchers from the CISPA Helmholtz Center in Germany found this flaw in AMD Zen 1 through Zen 5 CPUs. It breaks the protections of SEV-SNP, which is AMD's technology for keeping virtual machines isolated from the host server.
Wait, so the whole point of a confidential VM is that even if the host server is compromised, the data inside the VM stays encrypted and safe. Stack warp breaks that promise?
It does. If an attacker has privileged control over the host, they can use this flaw to run malicious code inside those secure VMs. It completely undermines the integrity guarantees. It's another reminder that hardware-level isolation is incredibly hard to get right. We've seen this with Spectre and Meltdown, and now Stack Warp is the latest chapter.
That's going to be a nightmare for cloud providers to mitigate. Speaking of things that are supposed to be helpful but turn dangerous, Google Gemini. There's a new prompt injection attack that's targeting people's calendars.
This is fascinating research from Liad Eliyahu at Migo Security. They found a way to use indirect prompt injection to bypass Gemini's guardrails. Basically, an attacker sends you a malicious calendar invite. You don't even have to accept it. It just needs to be in your inbox or on your calendar.
And when you ask Gemini, "Hey, what's my schedule look like today?" it reads that malicious invite and gets reprogrammed by the hidden instructions.
Precisely. The hidden prompt can tell Gemini to exfiltrate your private data, like other calendar entries or emails, and send them to the attacker's server. It uses Google Calendar itself as the extraction mechanism. It's a perfect example of how helpful AI assistants can be turned into inside agents if they're allowed to process untrusted data.
It's the confused deputy problem all over again, just with a LLM in the middle. You know, this reminds me of that click fix trend we've been seeing, where attackers trick users into fixing a fake problem. There's a new variant called Crash Fix hitting Chrome users right now.
Right, the Kong Took campaign. They're using a malicious Chrome extension that poses as an ad blocker. Once you install it, it deliberately crashes your browser. Then it shows a fake error message that says, "To fix this, copy and run this command."
And of course, that command is a PowerShell script that installs a remote access Trojan. They're calling it Modello Rat. It's clever because the user is frustrated by the crash and just wants their browser back. So they're more likely to follow the fix instructions without thinking.
It's social engineering at its most aggressive. They create the problem and then offer the solution, which is actually the payload. We're seeing a massive surge in these click-fix style attacks because they bypass so many traditional security layers by getting the user to do the dirty work.
It's exhausting. And it's not just individuals. The UK government just put out a warning about Russian-aligned hacktivists targeting local governments and critical infrastructure with DDoS attacks. It's more about disruption than data theft, but it's constant.
It's psychological warfare as much as anything. If you can't pay your local taxes or access council services because the site is down, it erodes trust. It's a low-effort, high-visibility tactic that we're seeing more of as geopolitical tensions rise.
Speaking of erosion of trust, did you see that Bruce Schneier piece on AI surveillance in schools? It's, well, dystopian is the word he used, and it fits. We're talking facial recognition, behavioral analysis AI to spot violence, and even audio sensors in bathrooms to listen for distress.
It's a massive amount of highly sensitive data on minors being collected and processed by private AI companies. From a security perspective, that's a nightmare waiting to happen. If that database gets breached, you've compromised the biometric and behavioral data of an entire generation of students.
Exactly. We're building these massive surveillance nets in the name of safety, but we're creating these incredibly attractive targets for hackers. It's a lot to take in today, from OpenStack admin bypasses to AI-powered school drones.
The priority for today is clear. If you're an OpenStack shop, check your Keystone middleware version for CVE 2026-22797. And for everyone else, maybe take a second look at those helpful browser extensions and AI calendar integrations.
Your daily AI-powered security briefing. If this saved you time, subscribe. We're here every morning.
Stay patched, stay paranoid.